They go to video, y'all.
Definitely, I've seen so many people waste irredeemable time trying to convince someone to like them, be with them. That is proven through their consistent actions, conversation, and practices. There is no mutual interest. They're trying to make this woman fall in love with them. Oh, I just love her so much, but she don't like you. Oh, I want this man to be with me, but he has shown you over and over again he's not interested in you that way. Why are you in this consistent pursuit, realizing that there is no reciprocal energy? In a lot of cases, what people consider to be love or obsession is really just a damaged ego that doesn't want to accept any measure of rejection. And so, because of it, we just feel like if I endure and push forward, I'll get the prize. And the only thing you end up with is a broken heart, frustration, irritation, and sorrow over something that was showing you through consistent red flags it never had any real potential in the first place. If you express genuine interest in a person and they explain and express to you that they don't have the same feelings, affections, or desires, and you continue to pursue them, and you end up with your feelings hurt and you're disappointed, that's your fault. All because you thought your enamored state would trump their honesty. But let's just say by chance, after your demonstration of uncanny pursuit, they come back and say, okay, let's give it a shot. You have to accept this. You are not their first option. And more than likely, they failed in another area with another person that they actually wanted. And that might have happened multiple times. And because of those failed attempts, they finally got exhausted, came back and was like, okay, let me give you a shot. So are you okay with dealing with the fact that you're looking at them as a priority, but they chose you as a last option? And I know there are those that have had their fairy tale endings where they finally got the person, but I'm one that has always believed that in the back of that person's mind, they look at you every night like, I'm joking. I mean no disrespect, to each his own. I'm just saying, for me personally, I would never want to fall in the category of being with a woman after pursuing her for years and years, her finally giving me an opportunity, but in the back of my mind knowing that the reason why I'm here is because either those bills started piling up, that clock started slowing down, or them kids needed a daddy. Now I'm the one that she's like, all right, come on, your turn, come off the end of the bench. I believe that if a person desires you and you desire that person, you have a healthier opportunity to create a foundation that has longevity. But when a person picks you because you're all that's left, nah. I don't want to be somebody else's plan B, C, or D. I decided to go with plan A. Love God, love myself, and let the chips fall where they may. If a person doesn't desire you, don't try to force what doesn't fit. Shoes and food.
All right, let's go ahead and get into it. People picking you because you're all that's left. Go ahead, Luis. What are your thoughts about it, sir?
I agree. I agree 100%. I mean, I think unfortunately, too many people are trying to fit a square peg into a round hole. And, there's always a lot of signs that kind of show you whether they're reciprocating the same type of energy, they're showing the same type of interest, having the same kind of follow up conversation, and also looking for you at the same time, right? I think far too often some people do want what they want. You know what I'm saying? We have that like, oh, I want this person, or I'm going to make them like me, or I'm going to show up in a certain type of way for them to see me in this kind of light. But if you have to alter yourself in order to gain favor of someone who you're trying to attract, then you are essentially compromising whatever foundation, principles, or genuineness that you organically have just to gain favor for someone else. Unfortunately, some people do miss the shot clock. They do miss their blessings, and some people do come around and spin the block and trying to be like, okay, like come around. But look, the grass is never green on this other side. The grass is green on the side in which you water it and you nurture it every single time, right? And people will stay around. People want to be around you. But those people that don't, take that as a blessing, man. Let those people go and fall by the wayside. That's all I got.
All right. Go ahead, Balance. What are your thoughts about it, man?
Did you see my face? Is that why you called on me?
No,
All right. I thought, it's funny because I don't disagree. I think it's true people do that, but I think they settle for each other because they're all that's left for each other. I'm not being funny. I mean that in a very sincere way. They're both still single, right? They both have baggage and they both are settling for each other in certain areas. I mean, it's very common. If you don't want it for you, don't do it. But I think the majority of people do this. Yes. Who am I to say if it's right or wrong? People do what they want. I mean, I don't really have much to add to this because it's like we know this is what people do. We know men and women alike do this. So
It's like the
not really.
school.
Huh? Say it again.
I said it's like the school dance where the music is starting to get low and the music and the lights are slowly trying to turn on, and you're looking around to find the last person to dance with, and you're like, okay,
Yeah.
come on. You're
And
sitting in
then,
the corner.
but not only that, he's saying it like he's offended. And I'm like, well, if she chose you as her last pick and you accept it, you can't really be offended because it's like, I mean, you accepted it. I mean, you both agreed to this, right? It takes two people. Now, if she offered it and you're like, absolutely not, okay. But if you accepted it, you can't be there and complain. You can't be in the relationship complaining that you're picked last because you chose that. That's really all I got to say about it.
All right, I'm gonna go to Clout, and I think Clout mentioned this that you can't like. How do you know if you're that last option or last pick? Go ahead, Clout. What are your thoughts about it,
Yeah,
sir?
yeah. When it comes to what the guy in the video said, I think he articulated it pretty well. I mean, I agreed with the majority of what he said, but I do think that at least in the position I'm in, like with women my age, you really never know if you're her last option. Like where is the last option? I mean, the options be like a telephone book, so it's like you don't know what option you are. You don't know if you're the first one, the last one in between. You just know you an option, and I feel like that realm is something that's a little bit too deep for me to think. I feel like I end up hurting my own feelings trying to think that deep, whether I was the first choice, second choice. If I'm the choice, then I'm the choice. If I'm not the choice, then I'm not the choice, and that's all that matters to me.
Okay. I think one of the ways you might be able to tell is if you guys take a break. I think that you don't okay, go ahead, Paradise. I don't usually have people disagree with me, but you go ahead since you was bold enough. Go ahead.
The reason why I disagree is because your replacement probably been somebody new. Your replacement probably wasn't the last choice at all. It's probably that somebody came in to fill a sector of whatever I felt like that person felt like they were lacking at that time. But honestly, listening to the context of that video, I can't actually agree with him either because I'm never that consumed with the person dating before me. I assumed that you were doing that already. So I wasn't your last option. I'm your moment right now. I'm not your last option. I'm your experience right now. If it were me dealing with somebody and they had another person that they were dealing with at the same time as me, maybe that would have more leverage. But if it's you coming back around because life pulled us apart for whatever reason, I feel like that's normal. I feel like we all do that to a degree. No.
Yeah, I was gonna say sometimes timing is just not what it is at the time that you have this experience with someone. Um, but I don't think that women really are with the men that they truly like. That's why there's so many divorces. I honestly don't think that they're with the men that they like. And I think that because they're not with the men that they like, they settle for someone that they kind of like. And then they realize that they don't like him and they divorce him. I honestly wouldn't be with someone that
I
I
agree.
wholeheartedly didn't like for the person. A lot of women marry for money, they'll marry for status, they'll marry to have help with the kids, like he said, their kids need a daddy. I don't think that a lot of women are truly with the men that they like. I think that the men that they like might be with somebody else, or the men that they like might not want to settle down. But I don't think women are with the men that they like, and then they settle for someone and realize that they really don't like this man or they really don't want to be with them. I think that you should be with who you truly like. I think that's where you will find strong families and strong bonds and strong communities because you're so enthralled with one another that you're not looking at anybody else. You don't see anybody else. You only see that person. And so when you only see that person, your bond is a lot stronger. When you feel like you are with someone because you're just what's left, for women and for men, you can be insecure. I don't know who really thinks like that. Like, oh, I'm just what's left. You chose me. I think that when people are chosen, they feel honored to be chosen. So to say that they're chosen because they're all that's left, I think will make someone probably maybe go mentally crazy. Like you say, you don't want to be looking at your woman or your man and be like, oh, at the end of the night, right? Like you don't want to feel like that. But I say be with who you truly like. And if you can't be with someone that you truly like, then be single until you run into somebody else that you truly like.